We're joined by Jamie. How are you doing?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. That's the first time you called me Jamie, that.
You remember it says Jamie on your thing.
Yeah, that's my name. You always call me James, don't you? I like it. Gives me another identity.
Do you remember that program, Jamie and his magic torch?
I know people used to sing that to me all the time.
Did they?
Jamie and his magic toy. Was that it?
That's you, mate.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, I'm getting a bit of attention, and from what
Huh?
you've said. Yeah, bloody hell.
I know, yeah. Puppy Parsons tweeting about you. You've got fame at last, James.
He's tweeting. Well, I went on his Instagram. I was trying to find it. I couldn't see how. So yeah, got fame at last. I don't know. If you don't get talked about, you're not interested enough, are you, Ross?
We're going to give Parsons a break now. He's a Brockington mainstream, aren't we?
Yeah, I know.
Could you imagine how much TCP's had to buy to rinse his mouth out?
Oh yeah, I know. He's I bet he's got one of them dental dams as well, isn't he? You know, like for what you're supposed to use for oral to keep it safe. He's probably got one of them.
How
Love you, Charlie.
were you anyway, James?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Diet continues. Had a good birthday. Went for a curry and that, and well, you know about this sort of stuff, don't you? But where I overloaded myself for carbs, mate, my stomach was in bits. Telling you.
You have
Oh, sorry. Say again.
naan bread and all that.
Yeah, naan bread, curry, well, not curry, rice. Yeah, my stomach was in bits. I went mad all weekend. You're not supposed to, are you?
Should have just had a curry and no and a bit of boiled rice or something.
I know. Yeah, I know. Well, I've learned my lesson. So, are you all right?
Yeah, sound. I want had a bit of a break, like.
Yeah, sorted.
Well, for me,
Good to
it's
hear.
like a playground, isn't it? Amsterdam. It's like a fat kid being in a sweet shop at school.
Yeah, yeah. Or
Oh,
me being in the curry house. You know what I mean?
you like curries, yeah?
Yeah, I love them, mate. I love them. I should have been born an Indian.
Yeah.
Bombay Dave.
Chinese food you've got to stay away from. It's all cats and dogs, isn't it?
I know. Yeah. Well, look at Johnny Fisher's dad. Do you know what I mean? I think he's the perfect advert for that, isn't
He's a great advertisement for Chinese food, isn't he?
he? Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the dangers of it. So yeah.
Yeah. I remember where I'm from years ago. There were Chinese opened in Wormsworth, and people were losing their minds over it. It's like a couple of mile away, and like, wow, we're Chinese. And it's
Yeah.
like 40 odd year ago. It was a
Hmm.
big thing, like, do you know what I mean? Because people were like sick of fish and chips after a shift down the pit. There's a
Yeah, yeah, I know what you
down
mean.
there. Woo! Now look,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, all exotic, and it prawn cocktail used to be like that and all, didn't it? Everyone thought they were Hyacinth Bouquet, didn't they? Just because they could make a prawn cocktail.
yeah, prawn cocktail for a starter. Whatever happened to just a bowl of soup?
I know, tradition.
Eh? Right, James. A lot's gone on since I've been away. Why
Yep.
is Bricktop suing everybody?
Oh, because
Is he?
because he's
That's a question from
well. Sorry, mate. I'm talking again. You're going to tell me off. Go on. You carry on.
Right, before we start, shut your pie hole when I'm talking. Then when I put that's your cue to come in and open your pie hole. All
Oh
right.
no, sorry. Go on.
Question from Simon. Let me read it out. Is he runs the Facebook for me? Uh, Here we go. Uh, Simon from I think is it Bath, Bristol, or whatever. He's from. He's a nice kid, very well spoken. Why is Bricktop in the face to face, not Don Charles? Shall we just get Dubois' dad in next? Maybe a good question. Fish eyes is cringe, suing everybody who has something to say or a different opinion. I agree with him. What it is with Bricktop, he's a bit of an old schooler, isn't he? Really,
Yeah.
he wants everything his own way, doesn't he? Because he's at top of food chain. And woe be anybody who don't agree with him. And this is why they have all these people around them, like that Dev cheese and onion sandwich.
Hmm.
Dev Sarni and all them kind of people. They have
Yeah.
lickers around them, people who are going to agree with everything. If you don't agree, way down the road, aren't you? It was
Cool.
same. You know, Andy Ayling worked for Queensbury, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, Andy Ayling, not many people know this. His nickname's the Beast of Brentwood. It sounds like some pretty cool name, doesn't it? But he worked for Barry Epstein,
Right.
and he were not he, team Barry Epstein. And if you're not going to agree with everything, you're never gonna get on. That's why Bunts didn't get on with him because they want you to agree with him. Bricktop's same. So if you're lasting a long time with Bricktop, it's because you're agreeing with him, isn't it? Really, do you think?
Yeah. Yeah. Company man, mate. I mean, well, yeah. Everyone's got to agree with him, haven't they? Otherwise, he throws out the litigation card, even when really it's completely obvious that he can't win. Like, look at the Eubank situation. Like, all Eubank's done is voice an opinion, really, and it doesn't really change his reputation because that reputation's already out there for all to see. So, yeah, we know what he's like if you don't agree with him. He throws his toys out the pram, doesn't he?
Yeah, it does, mate. And it's I don't personally think it's good for the sport at all because we need people to be themselves. And that Ben Shalom, I don't know how he got the Sky deal. I mean, he'd only done a handful of shows, hasn't he, really? And he had Carl Greaves. All everybody knows. Ask any matchmaker. Carl Greaves basically put them shows together, didn't he? Obviously, he owns boxers, doesn't he, Ben? But a young
Yeah.
a young kid like that getting a Sky contract like that, you can sense it from Bricktop and Eddie Hills, that they're not going to give Ben Shalom any steam off their shit, are they, whatsoever?
No, certainly not. To them, he's just a kid, isn't he? And it doesn't matter about his university credentials. I think he used to put parties together and things like that, didn't he, Ross? Like he was an events organizer, wasn't he? So, and I don't think that adds up really because boxing promotion and management and that is a sphere in itself. It's not just the event, is it? It's all the bullshit and the dark arts that goes on around it. You have to be prepared for. I think he's too. I don't know. Well, not nice. Nice is probably the wrong word, but he doesn't seem to want to speak up for himself. Like, don't want to get involved, does he, in conflict?
Well, no, he's frightened to death of them, isn't he? And don't forget, I don't know about Eddie Hills, but I know Bricktop's got lawyers and retainers because they're always going after people because he leaves himself wide open all the time because he's going to do what he wants to do. And he's always going to rub people up the wrong way. He's been rubbing people up the wrong way since he had a board license in 1980. Now,
Hmm.
what we're in now? 2000, what's that? 45.
2020.
He's been at it 45 year Bricktop. And he was just
Yeah.
on license before then and rubbing people up the wrong way. You see what I'm coming for? So he's always going to have lawyers and retainers. But
Yep.
it's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah. He's a very lucky man. I mean, the thing is, we have a go at Bricktop, and then people have had a go at Bricktop physically as well.
Yeah.
But you've got to admire his bottle because, I mean, like, a lot of people wouldn't have carried on after he got shot outside the Docklands. You know what I mean? They would have said, "No, that's too rich for me," and he just carries on, doesn't he? And as you say, rubbing people up the wrong way. So fair play to him in some sense, but I don't know. It's all playground stuff. Even this stuff with Parsons, it's all playground stuff. What's he tweeting for? I'm sure he's got your email address. He could just email. Well, like he could have my phone number if I've said something to offend him. We'll have a chat. But they don't want to do that, do they? It's just throw writs out everywhere.
Well, you did say that he looks like he's got
Down syndrome. Yeah, I agree. I look like Peter Griffin. Well, I've been called far worse. But I'm not crying about it. Have a
okay,
thick skin.
okay, James.
Sorry.
Right.
Sorry.
We'll put Bricktop to bed then before I get a legal letter off him.
I know.
Not that I'd be bothered anyway, but if I did, I would wipe my arse on it and I would post it back to him. How's about that, Bricktop? Okay. Uh, right, Daniel Dubois and Joe Parker. Uh, who have you got? And do you think people are getting carried away with Dubois?
I've not changed my opinion since we last spoke. I just Yeah, I just think Josie Parker's got too much for him. Daniel Dubois is, he's a very competent boxer. He was a good junior. He's done all right as a professional, but I just think Parker's a little bit too tricky. He's better on his feet. Um, he can put shots together a little bit better. Like, he's not a massively hard puncher, but I just think he'll be able to get out of the way of Dubois because Dubois will be travelling in straight lines. What did I say last time? He travels on tracks. He's a bit like a tank. And,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Parker's a Lamborghini, but compared to a tank, a Ford Escort's going to go a little bit quicker, isn't it? So I'd say the Ford Escort beats the tank just on sleekness alone.
A Ford Escort beats the tank.
Yeah, I'd say for speed, yeah.
What Ford Escort
Because I'm
talking here? What, 1.1 pop or a Escort Cosworth?
Cosworth, mate. It's got to be a Cosworth. I'm from Essex, so yeah.
Okay,
Well,
so do you think Don Charles could take a lot of credit for Daniel Dubois' turnaround? Because we're talking about a man here, James, that's had it put on him twice in his career and he's quit both times.
yeah, I would say so. But you've also got, and I know he's my mate, so I'm a bit biased probably, but you've got to also give credit to Kieran Farrell because Kieran's been doing a lot of fast pad work with Daniel Dubois, who I've already said is quite cumbersome. So he's given him something different in the camp. I think what Daniel needed was somebody to number one get on with his dad and just let his dad sort of run roughshod a little bit over proceedings, and just put an arm around him when needed. And with the introduction of Kieran, who's a little bit younger, bit of an injection into the camp, I think they've got a nice little formula. So I would credit Don Charles, but I'd credit the operation as a whole rather than just the one man.
Would you?
Yeah, definitely. I know how Kieran is. I know how he works. He's incredibly passionate. I mean, he made a Central Area champion out of Daryl Sharp, who was a journeyman, and he ended up winning a Central Area title. So, hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. And Daryl Sharp was just working really, really hard, and Kieran had the talent to take him there. So I know what he's capable of. So as a whole, yeah, fantastic. And I think they're not going to beat Usyk. Of course they're not. But they certainly got a lot further than they would have done had he stayed with maybe Shane McGuigan.
So you think Daniel Dubois is better with Daddy Don Charles and Kieran Farrell?
Yeah, yeah. Well, no, but I mean, he's with both of them, isn't he? Kieran Farrell's co-trainer. So yeah, I think as a team, yeah, he's a lot better. Well, the results have spoke for themselves. I know, like, he's not really, he's not like beat anyone of massive note, but against Jarrell Miller, maybe the guy that fought Joe Joyce would have just quit off a jab, and he didn't, did he? He did sort of face down in front of a storm. So, and that was with Charles. So I think you got to give him the credit.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from, mate, with that. Okay, Daniel Dubois' CV, since the quit against Usyk,
Hmm.
what do you think to it?
Well, like I say, it's just allowed him to.
Miller.
Well, Miller, Hergovich is sort of like, he was being spoken as sort of Charlie Big Potatoes a little bit, weren't he? But he did get beat by Zhang. Um, I don't think the CV's that solid, as I say, but the introduction of Farrell in the camp and all of that, I think he's definitely played its part because it's a mentality thing with Daniel. And I think if you put your arm around his shoulder, I don't think he would have stood up to sort of Hergovich, and I don't think he would have stood up to Jarrell Miller if he hadn't have had someone sort of whispering in his ear, you know? So I'm not saying that the CV's great, but it's a lot better than it would have been had it not been for that team. So we'll just wait and see. The thing is with heavyweight, me myself as a fan, all I'm doing is waiting for Usyk to retire and then seeing who picks up the scraps. So it's Usyk at the top and all the also rans afterwards, isn't it? But personally, I don't think we'll be. speaking about Dubois as a world champion after February 22nd anyway. So, you
Is
know,
he even
and
a
is he what?
is he even a world champion at the moment? Because he's had a regular belt by email and he had an IBF by email. So technically, in the industry, we call that a paper champion, don't we?
Yeah.
The actual
And I,
champion didn't want to fight him or move down or up a weight or retired. Now, none of that
yeah,
happened. They took the belt off Usyk, didn't they, for politics? And the WBA one were just them getting him in mix with Don King and all that nonsense, wasn't it, with that belt he got there. But
yeah,
is Daniel Dubois a paper champion? Yes or no?
yeah,
And
I'd agree.
why are the media not pulling him up about this?
Because the media is run by the promoters. You've seen Talksport. Watch Talksport. It's Frank's.
No, I
I
know
mean,
the
they're only
answer, James. Let me just
yeah,
stop you there, because you're asking questions and answering. I'm host, right? I know that. I'm asking you your opinion.
yeah. Well, that is my opinion. Like, that is, it's just it's the promoters, isn't it? It's the promoters, and Frank Warren specifically, Bricktop. He's even using Talksport as a little mouthpiece now, and Simon Jordan is starting to push back a little bit. But if Frank Warren tells the media this is how it's going to be, then that's how it is. It's a bit of a joke, isn't it? I mean, we're being told week in week out that we want this Conor Benn and Chris Eubank fight. We're being told constantly that we want Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. So, you know, whatever the media is fed, they're going to go with, and the masses will believe it. So, yeah, but Dubois is not a proper world champion, no.
Do you actually rate the bar?
I do. I do. It's just, it might not sound like it, but, again, going back to the car analogy, a Ferrari, Usyk's a Ferrari, right? That doesn't mean a Merc is a Mercedes is a shit car. It just means it's not as good as a Ferrari. I think he's a very good boxer. He's quite basic in what he does. Um, but yeah, I've got nothing against him. I think seems like a nice guy as well. I just when you've had Usyk at the top, we've been spoiled a little bit because the man's top 10 pound for well, top 10 heavyweight ever, in my opinion.
Would you? I'd have Usyk in my top 10 of all time. Me, would you?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, 100%. I couldn't order him. If you was to put me on the spot, I couldn't order him, but he would definitely be in that order. I've actually got Lennox Lewis at number one.
You've got Lennox Lewis as the greatest of all time.
Yeah, because I've got Ali at number two. Now you might actually think what, but I just think like that is one it's one situation where I think size would actually play a part because not Usyk, Lewis knew how to use his size. Um, but I mean, he was quite a big lad, wasn't he? And I just think with his proficiency in jabbing, he was great at controlling the distance, absolutely brilliant at controlling the range, even with his jab. Like the way that he held his left hand, he'd never have it sort of close to his chin, so he didn't have to travel as far with the jab. And I just think Ali would have struggled a little bit to get inside, and I think Lewis would have beaten him. I've got Lewis at number one, and then Ali number two.
Have you?
Yeah,
Well, first
but
of
I
all,
love Ali. I love Ali.
are you done?
I'm done. Go on.
Well, first of all, right, you're a cock, you,
I know I am.
for having Lennox Lewis above Ali, man. You cock. Simple as that. How could you put him above Ali when he got put on Button Moon twice? I know he rematched him. Ali fought everybody from
He
19.
did be.
Listen, let me just what I
Go
was
on.
talking about when I'm in mid flow. You know the
Go
dance. Right. From 1956 gold medalist, Patterson. Ali won in 60 in Rome. Fraser 64 gold. Foreman 68 gold. He'd done them. 72 gold with Cuban guy. He smashed him up in sparring. He'd done Leon Spinks at 76 gold. And he even went in there in his last fight with a 1980 Olympian. Fair enough, he didn't win a medal, but he went on to be WBC champ Trevor Burbick. Ali was a bad dude and badder than Lennox Lewis. I'm sorry, but I don't agree with you, James.
No, I understand. I get what you're saying. I've got two pictures up of Ali as well. Look there and up there. Right, I absolutely adore Muhammad Ali. Right, I'm not saying he wasn't a bad dude. He was amazing. He was an absolutely amazing fighter. I just think that it's the styles for me. Styles make fights. And Ken Norton gave Ali all he could handle, and Ken Norton wasn't half the fighter Lennox Lewis was. You know what I mean? And I just think it comes down to styles, and I don't mean to disrespect Muhammad Ali at all,
Yeah,
because
I
I
know
absolutely adore him.
you're not, but Ali, right? For me, I think he'd have just been too quick. I look at Lennox Lewis as like a Cleveland Williams type, me. And
Oh yeah,
he were a world champion, Cleveland Williams. I know Lennox has got 14 wins of a champions. Ali's got 16, but he's got at least another 20 wins of guys that would be world champions today, Ali. The only one
yeah,
belt in them days, want the James.
yeah. There was one man. Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying.
Because of your age, how old are you?
Well, I'm 35, but age don't matter because I've got all of Ali's fights on DVD,
Have
so
you?
age don't matter. Like, yeah, I adore Ali. Honestly,
James,
he's class.
crawl out my arsehole, James, right? Going out,
No, I'm not.
going out with your Harley DVD box set. Do me a
I
favour.
am. I
You know
am.
Harley's the greatest ever at heavyweight, ever, man. Come on, man. It's
Well,
superhuman. It used to
do
come
you
out
know?
that Superman theme song.
I'd be very interested to hear Terry's take on this. You know,
Yeah,
yeah, just because I know Terry's very technical, and I'm just looking at the technicalities, Ross. That's all it is. Ali for me is the greatest sportsman that's ever lived, but just purely on like just if you was to get him in a ring, I just think Lewis would have just something that Ali hadn't seen before. And you're probably going to think I'm absolutely mad saying that, but it's just my opinion. I'd want Ali to win, and Lewis is British, and I'd want Ali to win, but I just think Lewis would beat him.
yeah.
Hmm.
Well, we're gonna see, aren't we, mate? We're gonna see.
Well, sadly not, but yeah, we're going to say
No, we're gonna see in time what people think about who what best. Because
yeah, of
we're
course,
saying Moses Atome is going to be better than Ali, but we heard that from Barry Epstein, didn't we? Going on
yeah,
about Herbie Hyde. Remember all that?
yeah, Dancing Destroyer.
So
Um,
yeah, I think I nearly lost my phone again today. That would have been fourth one in a year. Keep losing people's numbers. If anybody's not had a text off me for a bit, I've probably not got your number, so email me, forkycorner@mail.com. Right, that's some good names and some people in my that other phone. It's a shame when you lose your phone, isn't it? Jug ears. He's annoying me, James. James
go on.
is annoying me. Every time I see him on Talksport, he annoys me. He's like this little chunky little monkey, hairy little monkey with chunky ears, a bad hair transplant, and he absolutely puts his tongue up the holes of Chisora, Big Meech, and Daddy Don Charles because they're Finchley, aren't they? They're all Team Finchley. He's
Yeah.
become an embarrassment, and I'm calling for Talksport to sack him because he doesn't know what he's on about. Sack this man and get him off my TV screen. What do you think to that, James?
I agree with that, to be honest, because I ain't got nothing against him. Like he seems like a nice bloke, but it's all this that Adi Oladipo's the same and all with Joshua. Like there's this certain demographic, Big Malk as well, right? Who, if they're a black fighter, I mean, it's not the same with Spencer, is it? But if they're a black fighter, they can't do any wrong, and he seems like that with the Finchley crew. You know, Derek Chisora. Like if they're your mates, you can't really be objective, can you? You need to remove yourself from proceedings.
Listen,
So I don't.
Big Malk, right? He used to come on here on Twitter years ago, and all he did was suck Adam Booth's toes. Go to Adam Booth! He's the best, the dark
He's
one.
the best.
Because
Yeah,
he were an ex Adam Booth fighter. Right. Well, he doesn't do it now. It's go to Tunde Ajayi, Lion Boss in the camp. Dream it, believe it, become it. All them one-liners and that they come out with. Half of them one-liners that Big Mouth comes out with, they're all Don King one-liners. I know Don King. Off, I know every single one of his one-liners. And Big Mouth, loyalty becomes royalty, and all that nonsense. He come out and quoting all the D's from the dictionary, like Don King does in that film, The Four Kings. It is just craziness, mate. It's absolute licking for the sake of licking. The man shits out that hole. Stop it, Big Mouth. Stop. So that's Big Mouth putting his place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, we'll be getting another Twitter soon, won't we?
We're getting another what?
Twitter.
That's it. Don't really bother me. At least I'm immune to it now, aren't they? I'm past caring now about what people
No.
think about me. I've got a good life. I'm happy. I'm fit as a butcher's dog. I'm happy, and there's a lot to be said, James, for being happy in life. Let's have a look. Tommy Fury and Big John Fury. They fell out of a dough.
Well,
Have you seen it?
no, I've not seen it, but it does surprise me because I'm sure that they've got enough to go around. But it couldn't happen to nicer people, could it? To be honest, Tommy Fury's probably done himself a favour getting away from that narcissist. Because John Fury's just he reminds me of my stepdad, and I had an abusive stepdad growing up. So I've got no time for John Fury whatsoever. He's a piece of shit.
Well,
So
do you know if I'd have been your stepdad, you know what I'd have done with you? I'd have took a pit belt to you for talking over me.
I know, yeah, I know. Maybe I'd learn some manners.
I'd have done the old Tony Soprano, what he did to that local councillor.
What one's that? Oh, what one's that? Where he hits him with the car?
No, the councillor's doing his bird with what who's got one leg.
Oh yeah, yeah. He gets the belt off, doesn't he, and starts whacking.
Well,
See,
that'd be me with you, mate. I'm telling you now, so get ready.
yeah, I'm ready.
No, Tommy and Big John have fell out because, well, this is the rumour around the campfire. You know I'm in the know.
Hmm.
They were taking off, right? But saying, well, you can't build a show if you don't know how to sell a fight and that. And I can see where they're coming from. Big John Fury, he's a big loudmouth, and he's basically where he lives. He's now before he got famous, obviously, because of his son. He was known as the village idiot.
Hmm.
You know, the local village idiot. There's one in
Yeah,
every village, isn't there? And that's Big John Fury, where he's from. Oh God, walking to local calf, and he just look. He orders, sits down, has a full English, then complains about it, pulls an air out at last little bit on plates. I'm not paying for that. Well, we know what he
of
is, don't we, right? The
course we
village
do.
idiot. But he was taking half off Tommy. But he can sell a show, Big John, can't he? So I can see if Tommy had said, no, I don't need you, them shows would have looked pony. Big John's got his son out there. He's put his son in mix. And I personally think he's probably burnt his son out in end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Done his own head in. But he's had a good do out of them all, hasn't he?
yeah.
But that's how I look at it. So, am I going to be losing any sleep at night because he's not getting a slice of Tommy's cake? No, because Tommy's 10-0 as a pro, but he's never going to fight as a pro boxer again.
No,
You know what I mean? Tommy is a misfit, like his old man. So, stay in misfits. Misfits for misfits. Nearly all of them in it are misfits. I mean, how many in the misfits are genuine, proper combat fighters? Darren Till?
yeah, yeah. I mean, I was gonna just stoop to the boxers level, but because that Vidal Riley, he was on, he was part of that gang, weren't he? You know, KSI,
Well,
and
how can
fair play to him.
Riley be part of that when he's got a board license?
Well, no, no, he wasn't part of it. What I'm saying is, they're all his friends. Like he trained that KSI, Vidal Riley, I think, for a couple of his freak shows, and they were asking Vidal Riley, like, why didn't you just get involved with the Misfits? You could make loads of money. But he was a very good amateur. I think he was an ABA champion or something like that. And he's just turned around and gone, if I went into Misfits, I'll just end up hurting people. I'm not a bully. I
He's a,
want to go and make my way properly.
he's a proper fighter, Vidal Riley. He only wants to part two, James.
Yeah, of course, mate. See you in a bit.
Right, I'll see you on part two in 2 minutes. Go
Yeah,
on.
part 2.
Thanks for liking and subscribing and leaving a comment. Oh God, I forgot that picture there with that hanging out my gob. I better change that. Pop, pop, bang!